place that is the final moment of your exhalation is a really important place in that breath. It's where the cycle returns and begins again. And on a seasonal level, the winter is the same place for Mother Nature. It is that slowest, most regenerative moment around which the other seasons return. And due to the sort of insulating and reflective qualities of snow across the landscape, it has really unique spiritual characteristics that require special protection.
I think any travel in the backcountry, whether you're traveling on your own or traveling with a group, it's about the human experience. It's about the human condition. It's about your spirit. It's about your soul.
You know, being in the backcountry, whether it's summer or winter, for me it means freedom. It's the freedom to sort of go where I want to go and where I can go under my own power.
The stoke of being out in that environment, the feeling of rejuvenation, the feeling of escape from the crowded, busy, technological world we live in.
I can just disappear into it for a week, 2 weeks, easy.
You know, it's a very Zen-like thing to coordinate your breathing with climbing and just letting all the troubles melt away.
I am Julie Mach. I am the Conservation Director for the Colorado Mountain Club. We manage the Backcountry Snowsports Initiative as well as a number of other backcountry recreation-oriented advocacy programs and stewardship programs as well. So we've been doing the BSI Hut Trip for a number of years, and I think it's really just a great opportunity to bring a diverse set of folks who are working on backcountry issues, who are interested in winter recreation under one roof. Challenge them, you know, make them ski up together, snowshoe together, cook dinner together, drink whiskey together.
It's important that we have a group that can sit at the table with a variety of stakeholders, non-motorized, environmental focused, motorized groups, stakeholders, clubs, what have you, to try to reach collaborative solutions which are going to be sustainable long-term.
The Backcountry Snowsports Initiative was originally formed up as the Backcountry Skiers Alliance.
And we just operated on a shoestring. And the effort was to try and get people to report on what they were hearing in the backcountry.
So, you know, one of the big things that we are anticipating happening in Colorado on the Forest Service is winter travel management planning. The Forest Service is going to have to go through a really focused planning process to determine where motorized use can and can't happen on the forest. They've only done that on the White River National Forest in Colorado, so every other forest is going to have to go through that process in the future. To set the stage for that, we need to know where the really high priority, high quality backcountry skiing areas are. So we can work with the Forest Service and with the snowmobile community to make smart decisions that protect that use, that work, you know, collaboratively across uses, work with the wildlife community to really set up a winter travel plan that makes sense. So we have been working on gathering mapping data that represents where people are going in the backcountry in the winter. And that data just hasn't been well consolidated in the past. It exists in guidebooks and in people's heads and backcountry ski logs, but we're consolidating it in one GIS database so that we can, again, really easily take that to the Forest Service and say, here's where we go, here's where we want to see protected, and we can layer that with lynx habitat or with OSB snowmobile trails, and we can see where things are overlapping and focus in on the areas where we're going to need some specific discussion and conversation.
On one hand, can be dialed down to just there's a lot of people and we all want to get out. There's more people getting out into the backcountry every year, and that's great. You know, more people are discovering that it's really fun to go play in the backcountry, but it also brings challenges. The more of us there are and the more different ways that we're out there playing, the more conflict will arise and the more impacts that we may have on the natural environment.
I think people should support organizations like BSI and the Winter Wildlands Alliance, not only to follow the current pressing policy issues of public lands, but more particularly to get to know the real core community that takes the deep interest in all elements of our sport, not just the gear, not just the risk, not just the beauty. but the people who really are seeking deeper meaning in their lives through this connection with nature.
And it's really important that you get involved in how those public lands are managed. That's sort of what puts the public into public land. And BSI, Backcountry Snowsports Initiative, is sort of your avenue to doing that. They are here to help recreationists figure out how to engage in these public processes.
So there's a lot of different ways to get involved. That doesn't mean that you have to stand up at public meetings and be a really dynamic personality out in front and speak in front of a lot of people. It could be as simple as using our online tool to write a letter to your congressional representatives and tell them, why backcountry winter recreation is really important. And if you want to be more involved, there are also tons of active volunteer opportunities at public meetings, at volunteer events, at things like the Hut Trip, where we can bring you out and give you even more of an in-depth understanding of these issues. And really what we need too are people that can motivate their friends and folks that they ski with and their community to get involved. Because the more people that we have engaged on these issues, the stronger our voice is, and the better chance we have of really putting good protections and plans in place for backcountry skiing.
And that's the first step. And who knows where it'll go from there. It's kind of like your first day in the backcountry. You don't know what's going to happen after that. You're probably going to stay involved.